Hi there, it's Nicole for Pretty Pink Posh, and today I am showcasing a card for the watercolor blog hop that has lots of watercoloring, both in the background, the landscape, and the cute little elephant and balloon image from W+9's Unforgettable stamp set. I laid out all the elements that I was planning on using with this card prior to creating the card to kind of make sure that everything was going to work. I am stamping the balloon and elephant on some Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock and using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to add a couple of colors of gray as well as a little bit of pink for the insides of the ears to the elephant, and then I'll blend those out together. Because these are water brush markers, they will blend together really well as far they're water-based markers, and so you can use them with or without water. I started out blending them with just the markers themselves, going over them, and I blended out that pale gray into the blush color in the insides of the ears to make it not quite so bright, vibrant pink. But once I had it all colored in, and I went back with my darker gray marker and added a few more dark shadows and things, I did go in with a water detail brush and blended it out a little bit. I am blending out here with my lighter gray marker, but here in a little bit you'll see me blend it out with water. I let it dry in between applying my marker blending, and then here's a little bit of that water where I'm blending out a few areas that didn't blend very well. So just a couple of different ways you can use those markers really easily. Now I'm going to apply a couple of colors of blue to the balloon. Again, I am going to blend my darker color with that lighter color. Once I have that, I did go in with an even darker color, and then I'm taking that water detailer pen again, just barely dipped in some water and blending that out for that watercolor look. There's a little bit of pilling, so I was removing that. Now I'm going to take another piece of this watercolor cardstock and tape one of the Pretty Pink Posh Stitched Borders 1 dies in place. It's kind of got a rounded edge to it. It's one of my favorites to use for landscapes. So it's going to give a great little place for the elephant to be sitting, and this is going to be my grass. Once I had that die cut, I took a couple of colors of green Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, a darker green, and then a lighter one, and I blended it out just a little, not a lot, because I am going to go ahead and take a healthy dose of water in a paintbrush and blend that green color all the way from the top there where I laid that color down to the bottom of this piece. So it'll really blend it out. I made sure to try to get some of that water off my brush. I don't want it overly saturate my paper. I'm going to pull that color down a little bit and then swipe it across the cardstock, coloring in that entire piece so that it goes from dark to much, much lighter. Go ahead and clean out my paintbrush. I'm going to set aside my landscape to dry. And now that my balloon and elephant are dry, I can go ahead and die cut both of these pieces with the coordinating Unforgettable dies from W+9. I like to tape them in place with a little post-it tape. If I'm die cutting multiple images at once, this ensures that the dies do not try to migrate towards each other when run through my Sizzix Big Shot with the magnetic platform. So I'll go ahead and pop both of these cute little pieces out. I am going to be using another full sheet of the Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock as the background for my card itself, which is already sized to an A2 sized card. I'm going to lay my elephant and the balloon out to kind of see and position where everything is going to fall on my card, and I'm taking a pair of scissors and cutting just a little slit there where the elephant's leg meets so that I can tuck that balloon string underneath. So it'll look a little something like that. I need to cut it a little bit more so that I can have that balloon tuck right inside there. And then I will set him down so I can figure out where I want to stamp the two little grass accessory images there next to him. So I want to make sure that I get those stamped exactly where I want them, and I will stamp them again with some Archival Ranger ink in jet black. I'm going to stamp one of those grass images on the left, and then I'll stamp the other one on the right, or to the right of the elephant. And then I can go in with my Zig Real or Clean Color Real Brush marker in that darker green and color in both of those little images. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside for just a second, and I went ahead and took my full watercolor cardstock sheet, and I originally thought I would take the Zig marker, lay down this really light pastel blue, and then take my paintbrush dipped in water and color the entire background. And it just was too light. You couldn't really see anything. I actually went ahead and did the whole piece and let it dry completely and laid out all of the other elements for my card and realized it was just much, much too light. I left it in because I wanted you to see that I was able to fix that. So while that dried, I went ahead and went in with my green marker and filled in those grassy areas for the grass. I also took a piece of vellum, and I'm taking one of the Pretty Pink Posh Stitched Borders 2 dies. It has this nice scallop border that I like to use for clouds, and I'm going to die cut the vellum using that die, and that is going to be the top portion of the design where I'm actually going to stamp the greeting. And the greeting is from the new Hero Arts Little One stamp set. I just love some of these new greeting stamps from Hero Arts. I like the combination of fonts, and I love the cursive fonts included in these. I'm going to stamp the phrase "Welcome to the World" first. Go ahead and sprinkle on some of that white embossing powder. And then I will take the two words. I added the embossing powder now so that I could see where they were when I went to line up the two larger words, little one. And I'm going to stamp the word little. Go ahead and grab the word one. I'll stamp that as well. And then I can apply the embossing powder to that and heat set the entire greeting all at once. So sprinkle all that on, tap that off, and then I will heat set that with my Hero Arts heat gun. And there I went back over the grass just a little bit. So now I'm going to take the Tumbled Glass Distress ink, apply it to my Ranger craft mat, and then apply some water or pick it up with a damp paintbrush and go over the entire surface that I've already painted with that Zig marker again. This is going to darken it up quite a bit, and even though it's still a very nice light blue, it's enough darker that I think it stands out so much better, and it really makes the other elements on the card pop. I added some black gel pen to the eyes on the elephant, and then the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen to the balloon itself to make it sparkle. And then I'll take a white gel pen and add some little dots to the cheek on the elephant. And the one cheek is kind of covered up by the trunk, so I only added one little dot on the right. My background is dry now, so I can go ahead and attach all of the elements to complete the card. I will attach the grass first, then I'll add some adhesive, and I ended up using a combination of traditional adhesive and then a little liquid adhesive. Or a tape runner adhesive and liquid adhesive, I guess I should say. I'm going to tuck that balloon string back there. And the glue pen works good on the balloon string. Since it's so thin, I can glue my elephant in place. I'll just use something heavy like an acrylic block or two to hold that down while the glue dries. On the back side of the vellum, I'm going to hide my adhesive by adding little dots of glue behind all of the embossed words. I'm being pretty liberal with my adhesive application here because this is the only place where there is adhesive. I want to make sure it sticks really well. Go ahead and glue that down at the top of the watercolor background. Again, I'll use an acrylic block or two to hold that down until the glue dries so that it stays nice and flat. I'm going to take those little stars, a little trio of stars from the Unforgettable stamp set, and stamp those, a little scattering of those there on the background, using some of the Lawn Fawn Mermaid ink. It's a nice blue, so it kind of coordinates nicely with the sky and the balloon. Kind of figure out where I want to place all those. And then I needed another little trio of them. One great thing about this star design is it kind of will straddle that balloon string. So you will see here, I'm going to ink that up. And then one of those little stars will be on one side of the string and the other two will be on the other one. I like how that ended up. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and apply some adhesive to my card base. The watercolor panel is A2 size, so it's 5.5 by 4.25 already, so it's going to completely cover the front of that card. I'll glue that down in place. And the last thing I'm going to do is take my Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen and add a little glitter to all of those falling stars so that they sparkle and shine as well. Thanks for watching this video showcasing watercoloring techniques for the Pretty Pink Posh watercolor blog hop. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.